What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Magisterial Madrid YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to be making my La Liga predictions for the 2019-2020 season. So, let's begin. So, in my relegation spots, in 20th, I have Mallorca. In 19th, I have Osasuna, and then in 18th, I have Granada. Now, the reason why I have those three in the relegation zone is because I think that they're similar to some of the other teams like Leganés and Eibar, but I just think that they haven't done as much as them in the transfer window, and I also just think that their squad isn't good enough to stay up. Now, speaking of Leganés and Eibar, I actually have those as my 17th and 16th position, as well as Alaves in my 15th position. I think that those three teams have just enough to stay above the relegation zone, but I think that they're not going to go any higher than that. But the only team that I think that can sneak in past 14th could be a team like Eibar or Alaves, but overall that's what I think that the next three will be. Now, from 14th to 12th, I actually have Levante there, as well as Celta Vigo in 13th, and I have Valladolid in 12th. Now, the reason why I have Valladolid so high is because, I don't know, I just have a feeling that they're going to play a lot better this season, and plus I like some of the transfer business they have done, especially getting in Lunin, and hopefully they do get in Kubo, but at the moment that looks unlikely. I think Celta Vigo has a chance to be a lot higher, but I just think that with the teams that I put above them, I think that they kind of balance out to 13th, and Levante 14th, just because I think that they're just going to pretty much plateau to what they normally do. Now, I do think that Valladolid has the chance to be honestly near the relegation zone or even relegated, but I'm kind of taking a shot in the dark because Valladolid this season is going to be my bold prediction at 12th. So just before we reach the top 10, in 11th I have Villarreal, because I think that they're a good team. I just don't think they've done enough again in the transfer window, and also I don't really rate a lot of their players, but they just miss out on the top 10. Now, from 10 to 8th, I have Espanyol in 10th, I have Athletic Bilbao in 9th, and I have Getafe in 8th. Now, last season, Getafe was 7th, and Bilbao was actually 8th, after Bilbao was actually having a horrible year for most of it, but of course, they had the big turnaround at the end. I just think that Espanyol will decrease a little bit because, of course, they lost Hermoso, and I think that he was a key part to their defense. I think that Bilbao will get one worse, and I think that Getafe will get one worse as well, although I do really like Getafe's team. Now, the reason for Getafe and Bilbao dropping one slot lower is because I have Real Sociedad in 7th. I really rate Sociedad's team, especially with my boy Martin Odegaard there, and I'm really excited to watch him, and he's definitely going to be the most exciting player this season in La Liga for me to watch that isn't on Real Madrid, besides Joao Felix. And I think that Sociedad has a very talented team, and I really like their new striker, Isaac, who of course comes from Borussia Dortmund. Now, for my top 6, I have Real Betis in 6th, I have Sevilla in 5th, and I have Valencia in 4th. Now, Valencia always seems to have these seasons where they play really well, and then the next season they just fall apart. And then the next season after that, they play well again, and then the next season after that, they fall apart. They don't really seem to have this consistency, and after losing Rodrigo, I think that's a big loss, and they've made quite a bit of transfers this summer, but I just think the addition of Maxi Gomez and many others, I just really like their team overall. As for Sevilla, I think that their team has kind of plateaued in terms of the talent they brought in and lost. I think they lost their best player in Ben Yedder, which of course he's gone to AS Monaco, which I think is a good purchase, but I do think that 40 million is a bit much. And of course they've sold people like Luis Muriel and many others as well. But I do think that they've also bought pretty good, but I just think that they're going to probably hit about 5th. I think the lowest they'll get is 7th, but I think the highest they'll get could be like 4th. But I'm going to put them at 5th spot for now, and Betis I think will just level out at 6th, and I really do like the addition of Nabil Fekir, especially because Lo Celso is gone. So top 3 time. This was really challenging for me, because I could see Atletico honestly snake the league, I could see Barcelona win, and Real, I think that if everything goes according to plan, I think we could win the league as well. I was really close to putting us 3rd because I just don't think that we're consistent enough in the league, and I do think we'll be actually really good in the Champions League this season, and I think that we will be pretty competitive. I don't expect us to win the Champions League or anything like that, but I expect us to be at least pretty competitive like we always have been under Zidane. But the thing is, in the league, we just have never been super consistent, at least besides the 2016 season under Zidane. So for that reason, I'm actually going to put Real in 2nd place. I was going to put them 3rd, but the more I thought about it, I said, you know what, I'm going to be positive, and I'm just going to give us our best opportunity. I'm going to say 2nd, because I just think that we definitely aren't winning the league this season, which isn't necessarily a bad thing. Of course, losing out on the league is bad, but I don't feel like many fans should expect us to win the league this season. And overall, I'm just really excited for the year, but I think that 2nd is probably where about we'll finish, but I wouldn't be shocked if we finish third. And of course in third, that means that I have Atletico Madrid. Now, I've been very impressed with them in preseason, and I've liked a lot of their transfers, especially João Felix. I'm a huge fan of him. I think he's going to be an absolute star, and I'm really excited for him. Now, of course, he is on a rival, so that does make it a little bit harder to root for him, but at the end of the day, I just like to see talented players play. Now, the only thing that kind of worries me is the back line. I think that their defense is pretty solid, like most years, but I think that they don't have as much depth there, and I also don't know how people like Felipe will actually transition into La Liga, but we shall see. Now, like I said earlier, it wouldn't surprise me if Atletico actually managed to go on and win the league, because I think that their team is solid, and I do think that they're probably the most sturdy team compared to Real and Barca, and I do think they probably have a more consistent defense than Barca, and definitely more than Real. But I just think that in the attacking end, it'll hurt them a little bit, because although I think João Felix will be great, can you really rely on Diego Costa and Morata? I think that Costa will have a lot better of a year that he's healthy, and I think that Morata is actually a pretty good player, but I just think that they may lack a little bit on the offensive end, so that's why I think that we will just pip them in the league. So that leaves, of course, the champions, Barcelona. Now, this, of course, all depends on Neymar and where he ends up going. Now, if Neymar does make a move to Real, then I will make an update video, and I'll see if I change any of my predictions. But even if Neymar came to La Liga, then I think I would still pick Barcelona at the moment, but I'd have to really think about it. It would be a lot more competitive, at least in my opinion. And of course, if Neymar went to Barcelona, then I think that Barcelona will have another ridiculous lead in the league title, just because I think that their team would be pretty insane. Now, I think that their defense is something that lacks and is really inconsistent, and they're also yet to play Griezmann, Suarez, and Messi all together, and of course Messi is going to miss the opening game, or at least right now it looks likely, due to injury, of course. And overall, I just think Barca's team right now is probably just too good to lose out in the league. I don't think they're going to win the Champions League. With Neymar, I think they have a lot better of a chance at the Champions League, but they definitely have to fix up their defense, much like we do as well. But if we do get Neymar, then I definitely think the Champions League is going to be a lot more interesting, and I give us a really good chance at it at that point. But overall, that's pretty much it. That's all of my predictions. Now, I will throw a top goal scorer, top assister, and top clean sheets. I think for sure top goal scorer and assister will most likely be Messi. I think maybe they'll rest him a little more this season because, with age, I think that sometimes a little rest is needed. And of course, if you bring in somebody like Griezmann, you're assuming that he's going to pick up some of the goal load. And I do think that somebody like Neymar, now if he does come in to Barcelona, then I think that it may hinder Messi's chances at getting the top goal scorer. But I'm going off the basis that we don't know where Neymar is going yet. So top goal scorer and top assister, I'm going to be picking Lionel Messi. And for most clean sheets, I'm going to be picking Jan Oblak because I think he is ridiculous. I think he's the best goalkeeper in the world, and I think that with probably the most sturdy defense in front of him, at least at the moment, I think that he will have the most clean sheets again in La Liga, just like he did last season. But yeah, that's pretty much it. If you guys did enjoy today's video, don't forget to comment down below on what your top 3 is, who is going to win the league and who is going to get relegated. Let me know in the comment section down below. Leave a like on this video if you guys did enjoy, and subscribe to the channel if you are new to Magisterial Madrid. But that's pretty much it from me. I'm signing off, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Hala Madrid.